I'm your worship associate today, and I didn't think there were going to be very many people here because it is Labor Day weekend, so I know people are gone. But I would just like to remind everyone that we are just a little island of common sense here. I like to call us common ground for uncommon people. As someone mentioned last week, there's probably a lot more of us here in this red country that just haven't discovered us yet. So hopefully, I know I have some friends who have come here because of hearing what it is that we do and don't believe, and I think we can continue to grow in that same manner. So if you're a guest here, which I know at least someone is because I made him a name tag, you're very welcome. Everyone is equal here, and love is the doctrine of this church. So let's stand up and greet everyone. Okay, if you all will find your seat again. I've lost control. My goodness, you're a rowdy group to be so small. Okay, if you will join me now with our opening affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. For these high purposes do we unite in worship. You may be seated. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Now is the time in our service when we share our joys and concerns. So if you have something you would like to share, please come to the sand bowl and tell us what it is, and we will pray with you about it. And I will start. This candle really should be 2 candles because It's for the two innocent little children that were gunned down in the Catholic Church in Minneapolis this week.
Hi guys, I'm Lena. I have a concern. Last week, into the middle of the week, a friend of mine's husband died suddenly. They're not really sure what happened. He was early 40s. They were on a family vacation in Colorado, and he was feeling a little under the weather and coughing, and all of a sudden he went down, and they could never get him back.
Hi, my name is Holden, and I have a joy today. So recently, I have started a project where I email governors of all the states and request a signed photograph of the governor, and I have gotten multiple responses. I don't know just how many yet, but including one from Andy Beshear, who is the governor of Kentucky and is currently probably my favorite politician, currently serving within the United States. So.
Good morning. My name is James, and I'm going to let it kindle concern. For the past couple of weeks, my mom's brother, my uncle James, who I'm named after, is in hospice care. So we've been attending to him the past couple of weeks, and he's in good spirit. He's his journey's coming to an end. So I just would appreciate your thoughts and positive vibes, just so he can have he can enjoy what's his time with his family, and I'm hoping for a peaceful journey for him. So thank you.
Some of us are real short. My name is Vicki Shane, and I have a joy this morning. It didn't start out that way, and some of you know the beginning, so that I would like to tell you just a tiny little bit about the journey. Many of you know that last year I lost my husband of 38 years, Gerald. And at that time I had a lot of support from a lot of people who were most concerned about me and helpful, and one of them was a former neighbor of ours from Timber Creek Canyon, and she called one day and said, there's a group of us that go out to the little theater and to the symphony and so forth, and we've got extra tickets. Would you like to go? And I said, sure. So she said, okay, John Robinson will pick you up. Well, John was a guy that I had known back when we were in youth fellowship together as teenagers at the First Presbyterian Church, so we were acquaintances. And I don't know whether she informed him of that before or after she told me, but he dutifully picked me up and took me to several performances and so forth, and then I went to Australia. Well, it turns out he also had a WhatsApp, and so we communicated a little bit on the WhatsApp, and thanks to my tour company that did not know the difference between Dallas and Denver and bad weather, I ended up in Amarillo at 4 in the morning. And there was my chauffeur waiting for me, so I didn't have to take an Uber in the middle of the night. And over the next couple of months, we learned two very important things. And one of them is that we're both liars. People would say to him, would you like to meet my cousin or my wife's friend or whatever? And he'd say, no, I'm past my use-by date. And people would say to me, is this serious? And I would say, no, I don't have any intention of ever getting involved with anybody again. He loves trimming my trees and pulling weeds out of my garden. And that part's actually true. He does like climbing trees and playing in the dirt. But the other thing that we learned was that it really is possible in this lifetime to love more than one person, and that there's no use by date on love. So when this very kind and supportive man asked me if I would like to meet him in Santa Fe on Thursday and look for wedding rings, I said something sort of like, do we have to wait till Thursday?
Thank you, Vicki. That was a great story. I love it. I'm going to light one final candle for all the joys and concerns that were not expressed but deeply felt.
My apparently we changed the format, and
What happened is because we didn't have a children's story last week, I forgot to untie the slide.
okay, so I'm doing the children's story or I'm doing the reading? Okay. Okay. This is a book called Maybe, a story about the endless potential in all of us. It's written by Komi Yamada and illustrated by Gabriella Bawush. You are the only you there ever has been or ever will be. You have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen before. Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try. See as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget, it is on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you'll help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you'll lift cheering crowds to their feet. Do everything with love, follow your heart, and see where it leads you. Maybe you're here to shine a light into places that have been dark for too long. Maybe you'll speak up for those who can't speak up for themselves. Maybe you're here to help in ways that only you can. There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times, it will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You may fall down. Oops. You may fail. But you will also get back up, and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller, because there really is more inside you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your talents, and your big ideas. And maybe you are just getting started. What if you're only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet? There is something powerful and even magical about you. You already have everything it takes to do big things. Maybe you have no idea just how good you really can be, and maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting centuries for someone exactly like you. One thing for sure, you are here, and because you are here, anything is possible. Oh. Anything is possible when pigs fly. Okay. Now, John, do you want me to also do the reading? Or? Okay, that's okay. This is called The Invitation by Arana Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you're telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty, every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments.
Thank you, Arana. We've been working on the script. You know, we're a team here. Claudia and John and Richard and I tried to make everything work the way it's supposed to work. And thank you for working with us this morning, Arana. And if anyone else would like to be a reader like Arana did this morning, just let me or April know, because we can always use some new people. And now we will have our moment of silence and meditation. And during this moment, let's pause to remember those who need our love and support, who are ill or hurting in body or spirit. Let us open our hearts and minds to a place of quiet, to speak silent words for the healing of pain, and to anticipate the gentle arrival of peace and love in the spirit that ties us all to humanity. Please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. And now we have a special treat. We have someone special to introduce our speaker today. So Wes is going to introduce Johnny.
Well, I'm sure you all know Johnny already, so he doesn't need much of an introduction. But I'd like to tell you a little bit about Johnny. He's a unique person. I went to the Unitarian Church sometimes when I was doing graduate work at Texas Tech. So I learned all about that, and when I could see how Johnny was going, I said, Johnny, you need to be a Unitarian. What's that? Didn't know what that was. we took him over here, and the first thing he noticed was that they were talking about theists. He never heard a lot of people talking about theists before, and he didn't believe in those type of people anyhow. So, while he was here, he met and fell in love with a young pagan lady, Annalisa Minor, and they were handfasted in the year 2000 on the fall equinox in front of the Mother Goddess at the Peace Farm, which was across the highway from Pantex. The Peace Farm is no longer there, but the statue still persists and is sitting outside this building watching over all of us, right out this back door here. Together they had a child, Kai, who they raised up here in the fellowship. They celebrate their 25th anniversary next month. Today, Johnny will share with us a sermon originally delivered by Reverend Earl Clement Davis, a Unitarian minister whose words inspired a congregation decades ago. Johnny has adapted and expanded the sermon to highlight its enduring themes of courage, conscience, and community, and to connect it to our celebration today. Welcome, Johnny Phillips. Well, I've got a problem. I don't see Johnny anywhere, so I'm going to have somebody else sit in for him. So I'm going to introduce the Reverend John Edgar Phillips, who will have to fill in for Johnny since I can't see him anymore.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to finally be speaking here today for the first time. To get everyone in the spirit of our 75th anniversary since our fellowship was founded in 1950, I would like to present a mid-century sermon by the late Reverend Earl Clement Davis, who delivered it at the anniversary of his church's founding. Reverend Davis served as the minister there for over a decade, guiding his congregation through challenging times, including economic hardships, the Great Depression, and the uncertainties of a world at war. The church itself was founded in the 19th century, and though it had changed over the years, it continues to be an active Unitarian congregation today, carrying forward the principles of reason, compassion, and freedom in religion. I also want to share a personal note before we begin. I am a proud atheist. I do not personally agree with the Reverend Davis and with all the theological ideas that you will be hearing here today. But Reverend Davis's congregation was Unitarian, having predated the merger with the Universalists. But the values in this sermon resonate with the principles that guide our UU fellowship today. And I hope that they speak to you as they have inspired me. Thoughts on the anniversary. My friends, today we gather to mark 10 years of life together as a free church. 10 years may seem brief in the span of human history. Yet, in the life of a small fellowship, it represents courage, devotion, and enduring faith in the worth of our shared enterprise. For a decade, this congregation has stood not because it was compelled to stand, nor because it was assured of reward, but because those who gathered here believed that truth demanded it, and that freedom in religion is a gift to be cherished and exercised. When we began this fellowship, no one counted members or measured influence. We counted hearts, committed to living truthfully, seeking understanding, and acting with courage. Each act of care, each word of encouragement, each shared ideal has been a brick in the foundation of this congregation. We have built more than a building. We have built a community of conscience, a fellowship that embodies the principles that we hold dear. We have lived through difficult times. The shadow of economic hardship has touched the lives of all. The turbulence of a world at war has reminded us of the fragility of peace and the weight of moral responsibility. Yet even in such times, we have sought to walk in the light of conscience, to keep alive the flame of reason, compassion, and justice. It is in small communities such as ours that the light of humanity endures, even when darkness seems overwhelming. Consider for a moment the many faces of those who have sat in these pews over the years. Each has carried burdens, hopes, and dreams. Some have felt the sting of loss and despair. Yet all have brought a measure of courage to the fellowship. In times of uncertainty, it is not grand acts alone that sustain us, but the quiet devotion of the individual heart, the daily effort to live by our ideals, and the willingness to lift one another in their time of need. When the world around us trembled with fear and scarcity, our fellowship offered a space of calm and reflection. The principles of honesty, freedom, and human dignity guided us in our decisions and our interactions. We learned that faith is not found in rituals alone, not in the promises of reward, but in the persistent effort to live according to the values that we hold dear, in the building of a community where minds are free, hearts are kind, and justice is pursued. We have witnessed history's trials unfold before us. The effects of economic depression that tested the resilience of families, and the shadow of war that reminded us of humanity's fragility. And yet, amid these trials, our congregation has thrived. Our faith in one another, in reason and in moral courage, has allowed us to endure. The small lights of our fellowship have held back the darkness, and in doing so, have illuminated a path of hope and possibility for those who come after us. Let us not forget that work is never finished. The flame of conscience must be tended. The principles of justice must be applied. And the bonds of fellowship must be renewed with each generation. Each member of this congregation carries a part of that responsibility. The dedication that we offer today ensures that the fellowship will continue to flourish, that our values will endure, and that the free church will remain a beacon of hope in a troubled world. So as we reflect on these 10 years, we celebrate not merely the passage of time, but the courage and devotion that have sustained us. Let us recommit ourselves to the ideals that brought us together: the pursuit of truth, the service of justice, and the nurturing community in which we all may grow freely. May this congregation continue to be a place where reason guides our understanding, compassion guides our actions, and freedom empowers our spirits. And so, my friends, we rejoice in what has been accomplished, yet we remain mindful of work that lies ahead. Let us carry forward the torch of liberty and conscience, the light of justice and kindness, and the warmth of fellowship that binds us together. In doing so, we honor our past, strengthen our present, and provide a beacon for the future. This is our calling, and it is our joy. May this congregation continue to shine as a sanctuary for those seeking understanding, a community for those striving to live courageously, and a beacon for those who seek hope in troubled times. And may we, together, ensure that the light of the free church endures, illuminating the world with reason, compassion, and the courage to act rightly. Amen. And I think about Reverend Earl Clement Davis and the words he preached in his own time. I can't help but draw connections to the world we live in today. Davis spoke in the shadow of the Great Depression and during the years of a world at war. He understood how fragile democracy and freedom can be, and how vital it is for communities of conscience to stand together. Looking at our world now, I find myself concerned about how easily those old patterns can resurface. The rise of division, the spread of fear, and the temptation of the strong man politics remind me of forces that once pushed nations into the Axis camp. It is sobering to imagine that even America could walk risking down such a similar path if we fail to protect our values of freedom, compassion, and justice. But this isn't a message of despair. It's a celebration. It's a reminder of the responsibility. We can choose differently. We can remember that fellowships like ours exist to be small but steady lights in times of uncertainty. We can choose courage instead of fear, community instead of division, and truth instead of silence. As we celebrate 75 years of the Amarillo Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, may we also recommit ourselves to the same spirit that sustained Davis in his ministry. The spirit of resilience, compassion, and moral courage. That, I believe, is how we honor the past and safeguard our future. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say hallelujah. That was great, Johnny. Really good. Thank you. And now is an opportunity for us to share with our money. We sometimes give of our time and talent, but it does take money here. And so as we pass the silver bowls, please give what you can. And I encourage you to sign up for a monthly donation, which is really easy on our website. Or you can scan the QR code right here and get started. I have something really special happening on Friday. I hope you all have already signed up. There's going to be champagne and heavy hors d'oeuvres and speakers and just a whole lot of celebration to celebrate the fact that we have been here for 75 years. That starts at 5:30 on Friday. And we still need a youth RE teacher. If you were here last week, you heard Banjo tell us what's needed and how you could help. Here's a list of our activities that go on every week and every month here at the UU. Something for everybody. And our upcoming services include Chuck. Oh man, we can't wait for that one, can we? We never know what Chuck is going to do. And then we also never know what John Flynn's going to do either. And we know that we can depend on Reverend Roger Butts to give us a good inspirational sermon. And now I'm going to extinguish the chalice. May its message of love and service continue to burn brightly within our hearts and illuminate our path each day. Now, if you'll please stand in body or spirit and join in our closing song. And our closing words, may the fellowship of this hour touch and move our lives until we come again together.